I'm so happy to be here today because finally I'm given a platform to talk about God and how God has been instrumental in my journey so far. And there are 3 parts to the story actually. So I usually just deliver one part because when I go to the school I only have half an hour or 45 minutes. But today, right, it's going to be crazy because I'm given 45 minutes to cover 3 parts. Right, so the first part will be the growing up years, right? The period from my childhood all the way to my law school. The second part of the story will be about my life, my professional life as a lawyer, the start of my career, until the death of my father. And of course, the final part of the story was pretty recent, what happened in the year 2017. That's just like slightly over a year ago. Right? So, just by a show of hands before I go further, right? How many of you would prefer to hear the first part? The 小孩子, the Gina part. Okay. The second part, raise up your hand. The professional part. Okay, the third part. Well, basically you want to hear every part. Okay, I try my best, okay? 45 minutes, so I try to squeeze as much as possible. Right? So coming back to my professional life, I'm a criminal defense lawyer. That's my area of specialization. I know to many of you sitting out there, I probably look more like a criminal rather than the lawyer part. So I still get that a lot in Singapore. Right? Yes, my stories, my cases have been covered by the mass media, by social media over many years. And yeah, from time to time you read about me, you know, some of the guy with long hair with a funny name like Josephus. Later, my story, I will cover the part how I came to have this name. It's very unusual. And I actually got it by mistake. Yeah. I actually always prefer the name Joseph. Man of dreams. In the Bible, right? But somewhat, I was baptized in Josephus. By my own mistake, of course. Later, I'll share with you why. Okay. So I tend to move around quite a bit when I give my talk, but I heard that for the purpose of the video, right, so I got to, you know, walk within the confines of this circle. So I'll try my best, okay? Okay, part 1 of the story of Singapore's gangster lawyer. By the way, that's what they call me. Because, you know, some of the Chinese-speaking population, especially the elderlies, right, they always can't really pronounce the name. They'll say, that one, the long hair one. The Abeng lawyer, or some people call me the Pai Kia lawyer, you know. And after that, after a while, right, the media actually pick up on this nickname. So ever since then, Channel News Asia, Straits Times, you know, they start branding me as the gangster lawyer. Or in Chinese, they call it 流氓律师. There's a story behind it. So, part 1 of the story. I was born and I grew up in this place, in this district, very, very old district in Singapore, called Bukit Merah. Anybody heard of Bukit Merah? Ang Suan, Red Hill. Before there was Yishun now, of course. Right? Nowadays, Yishun, they say a lot of problems. And no. Yishun is the present day Ang Suan. So then, I mean, many adults here, some of them are probably in your senior years, you know what I'm talking about. When you go around and tell people you are born and you grew up in Ang Suan, Red Hill, the first thing that comes to their mind, gangster, pai kia. Standard one. From that place, you grow up to be gangster. More often than not, if you grow up to be a non-gangster, you are quite lucky. But most of the time, you grow up to be a gangster. Why? So for the younger audience, I'll share with you why. Because it is a very old neighborhood. It's filled with a lot of vices, gang activities. You see people taking drugs. Just below the void decks, you see the poor people staying in the one-room or no-room rented apartment, subsidized by the government. In one coffee shop alone, there can be like 10 gangs, you know. Nowadays, it's one coffee shop, one gang. Or sometimes one gang, 3 coffee shop. But last time, different. Last time, one coffee shop, 10 gang. Every table, one gang. Yeah. So it gets a bit confusing. Right? So that was the environment I grew up in. I came from a blue-collar family. My father used to work as a security guard, uneducated. He himself was a gangster, right? He was part of the secret society. He was, I heard, apparently quite high-ranking. Then my mom was a high school dropout, right? So, so pretty much quite poor. So my mom worked in the factory. My dad was working as a security guard, sometimes double up his job as a bread maker, So if for people who know me, I don't like to eat roti, I hate roti. So every time I go for events, they got sandwich. Then they offer me, I won't eat it. I grew up eating it. Why? We have no choice. In order to feel the hunger in your stomach, you take the roti, you put inside the water. Then you get filled very fast. That was how the life I grew up in. On canned food, roti, because my father used to work in a bread factory. They make roti for McDonald's, for KFC. The factory rejects and all this, because the shape a bit odd shape, not so pretty, then they reject the whole loaf, Then my father will bring back, hey boy, I brought back roti. Then I'll be like, not a surprise, lor. Every day is roti, won't kopi, So, and I also came from quite a complicated family background because many of my relatives, you name it, I probably have it. My mother's side, mostly drug addicts, all the way from a young age, all the way until their senior age. We have prostitutes as well. We have gangsters, we have robbers, we have thieves. So every weekend, there'll be like a gathering for family members at Jalan Besar. And the senior people, the adults, will gather to play mahjong. Then Singapore weather very hot, so when they play mahjong, they all take out their shirt. At a young age, I know you can see many different animals. Dragon lah, phoenix lah, hamster lah, centipede. I swear, this is true. I got one uncle, got 2 rat here, centipede lah, So you name it, I've seen it. All different kind of tattoo. Smoke lah, drink Guinness lah, play mahjong, gamble. Then all of us young kids will be, put on the bed, toddlers, just looking at them play mahjong. At the age of 8 years old, I already know how to play mahjong. I don't play iPad, that time no iPad. So I started gambling as young as 8. Because when the adults go and eat lunch, then that's where we start to play. Instead of Lego, we play with mahjong tiles. So very proficient. My grandmother actually died at a mahjong house, those legalized mahjong house. Died on the table because she played mahjong like 24 hours straight up until she collapsed on the mahjong table. So, what else? Started smoking at 12, drinking at 14, joined a gang at 15, took part in my first gang fight at 17 with weapons. And maybe let me go back a little bit. So I grew up at a very young age knowing that what you need to do is to survive. The Singapore dream is not to be rich. The Singapore dream is to have a job, buy a HDB, marry a girl next door, have 2 kids, hopefully maybe a dog and a car. The Singapore dream. So at a very young age, my parents, they themselves, they were fighting to survive, right? So they always tell us, no need, can study lah, cannot study, go out and work. Most importantly, must get a job. So don't bother lor. So I go to school, not really to, as in to study, but to play, hang out with my friends, So I never study. And the best part, I always like to lie at a young age, right? So my dad will always ask me, so my dad, you see, uneducated gangster, right? Will always ask me, boy, you got study hard or not? I say, of course. Really? I say, yeah. Next time when you grow up, you must be lawyer or doctor, Because back in the days, in the 80s or 70s, Singapore only got 2 jobs only, lawyer or doctor. All of us grew up, went through that phase where all our parents want us to be lawyer, doctor. The rest are not human. They are not proper jobs. Correct or not? So we grew up in that era. So even though my father was uneducated, poor, was a gangster, but he was very hopeful for their children. So always ask me, can be lawyer, doctor or not? I said, can. Sure, we work so hard, you must study hard, okay? Okay. But the best part is that I always don't go to school. I always go to the nearby playground, play marble, and somehow we gamble, using marble. And pick up smoking. But the one thing that I remembered when I was 12, primary 6, PSLE year, was when this group came to my school. Oh, by the way, I studied at Raidimas Primary School. Now it's one of the top primary school in Singapore. But during my time, it was not. It was a neighborhood school. So, this group by the name of Singapore Youth for Christ, they came. So they came, they performed, Then I was very enticed. I was like, wow, so interesting that the people so fun, all these youngsters, youth leaders. And then after that, they say, okay, for all the kids out there, if you are keen to know more about Jesus, you can come and sign up with us, okay? So I was very enticed. I was like, interesting. So I went to sign up. Then, subsequently, we kept in contact. So before I go there, PSLE. So my father asked me, boy. Oh, by the way, they call me boy. Right? I don't used to look like that. I used to be very boyish. That's why the name boy, you see. Yeah, so I don't used to look like this. Yeah. So they call me boy. Boy. PSLE must study hard, okay? Must go express. Because during that time, only normal, express, special. Don't have normal acad, normal technical, what. Don't have. Only 3 streams. Must go to express, okay? I said, sure can. Even though I know I never study, I don't even know, where's my classroom, Sure can. Then after that, result release day. My father called me from the security guard post at MacPherson. He was guarding an industrial building. Boy, later, 10 o'clock, collect result, right? I said, yeah. Can go express or not? Yeah, can. Sure can one. And because my father, uneducated, he's a man of few words. And we spoke in Hokkien, of course, or broken Mandarin, Oh, by the way, I didn't start to speak English until I was 13 years old. I was always speaking in dialects. So I'm fluent in my dialects. Fluent in Mandarin, which is quite a rarity for lawyers these days. Right? So that was the first time I saw that my dad was very different in his approach. He said this, boy, whatever the result, remember to come home. I don't know why he said that, Until today, it puzzles me, But that time, I don't know God yet, you see. So I suspect maybe he cannot possess or something, the Holy Spirit, So he told me this, boy, no matter what results you get, come home. I was like, okay. Then I put down the phone. Went to school, of course, expected, right? Never study. Got my PSLE result slip. B, F. F for mathematics. Until today, I'm very lousy in my numbers. So remember this point, I'm very lousy in mathematics. So later in the part 3 story, you realize that why I almost went bankrupt. I've never been good in money with numbers. Okay, since primary 3, all the way until PSLE. So I failed maths. National passing average, 180 points. I passed by 3 marks, 183. So go normal, no choice. Why? Then when I received the result, because of what my father said in the morning, suddenly it dawned upon me, I felt shame for the first time in my life. I felt that I have let him down. I would have preferred him to beat the crap out of me, to scold me, use vulgarities. Oh, by the way, I grew up scolding vulgarities. It's part of the family culture. Until today, when I talk to my mom, sometimes we talk halfway, then the Hokkien vulgarity will come out. My mother will do the same to me also. But it's part and parcel of the family culture. So I wish that they would throw vulgarities at me, beat me, belt me, cane me, That's how I grew up. But he didn't, So I thought, maybe that morning, he was very cunning. He tried to make me feel bad, I didn't go home until about 8 o'clock at night. I ran to a void deck and I started crying there. And then I remember the Singapore Youth for Christ. Somewhat, that, hey, there was this group that I signed up for. Perhaps maybe I should contact them. So after that, at night, I went home. Then my dad saw me. Fail, right? Go normal, right? I said, wow, how you know, I confirm no lah. Look at your face, confirm never study. I say, yeah lah, I'm sorry. Then my dad looked at me. Sec 1, still got chance. Okay? Study hard. I said, okay. Then, before I go in, so I got posted to a neighborhood school, which is a pre-war school. Now it's demolished already. St. Teresa's High School. Not St. Teresa's Convent or St. Teresa's High School. You see, so I grew up with this kind of chip on the shoulder, St. Teresa Aqua Convent School. I say, hey, hello, St. Teresa High School. Neighborhood beside St. Teresa Church, Ken. Yeah. So, I got posted there. All paikias, abings, you go to school, wanting to survive, not to study. So, but I told myself, I said, okay, I'm going to study hard, be a good boy. Went into normal stream. Then, I still remember on the first day, the form teacher, we need a class monitor. And there I was, again, I must stress, I don't look like this. I look maybe like, let me see. Can I find an example or not? Okay, maybe the guy in the colored checkered shirt. Maybe, can you stand up and turn around? I look like this. Hey, like I said. Thank you. So, yeah, glasses, short hair, very small. Then the teacher, all of a sudden, you be class monitor. I was like, me? You. Subsequently, I found out she's actually quite a hardcore Christian, big time. My form teacher, you, Christian. No, sorry, you, monitor. Be a monitor. So I was like, okay lah, monitor. I said, need to do what? I say, no lah, you just make sure the class, they pay attention, during teaching, come to school, mark attendance and everything lah. Keep order. I was like, okay. First time I was given a leadership opportunity. So I took it upon my stride, study hard, took up the role of the monitor seriously, and then I contacted Singapore Youth for Christ. And that is outside of school time, on weekends. So that time they say, let's meet at the Singapore Bible House, is it? The one behind the fire engine, the building is still there. So I still remember I go over there, then they start to congregate in schools, the south, the schools in the south, the schools in the north. It was very organized. So with them, I felt a sense of belonging. Then they start doing Bible studies, sharing with me, praying. I came to know this person called Jesus Christ. And then they asked me, during one of the events, do you accept Christ as your Savior? You just need to say you accept Him. You'll be safe. I was like, not bad, quite easy one. Then so fun, so many friends. They don't judge where I come from. I thought, okay, let's say the Lord's Prayer, I want to be saved by Christ. So I become part of them. Then they teach me all these like evangelical tricks, At the age of 13 years old, I was preaching at Orchard Road every Saturday and Sunday. I'll go up to a stranger, Sir, can I tell you about my God? Then the adult look at me. Hey, I don't want to donate money. I say, no, sir. I show you something. Then I take a piece of paper, then I tear into a crucifix. Then I say, this piece is God's flesh for you. This piece is God. I was 13 years old, Now when I think back, I'm probably like part of a child syndicate or something like that. Much like those you see in the Bangkok streets, So there I was, 13 years old, preaching to Singaporeans about the gospel. I was so captivated. And then I still remember that one of my youth leaders, we still keep in contact today. Now he's a full-time ministry preacher up in the north. And he told me, hey, should start a Bible study class in your school. Even though you might think like St. Teresa's Catholic school, but no. Because the last I heard, my principal then was actually a Buddhist, right? Or he believed in Confucius or something, right? So, super anti-religious activities. So I gather my friends, we go to the backyard, then do Bible study with that youth leader. The next thing you know, I was surrounded by police. So the principal actually called the police to come to the school and arrest all of us. First time, 13 years old, I faced my first persecution. Yeah. Then, of course, you didn't understand the significance of it. Then we were all out with our Bible, then surrounded by police, who are you? Please take out your IC. What are you all doing here? Illegal gathering, is it? I was squat down there like criminals, with our Bibles. The school actually called the police, say you all cannot do this kind of activity in the school, what. Then after that, decided to give us a warning. And then a group of Christian teachers in my school heard about it, got together. Joe, are you okay or not? Don't worry, God is with you. We will be with you. We will speak to the principal. You are doing a good thing for God. Okay, continue your Bible study. I say, Joe, cannot. Later the police catch me how? Say, maybe do it at your friend's place. Don't do it in school. I say, okay. So, secondary school pretty much was like that. I did well in my first year. I managed to do so well I got into Express. So, second year I went to the Express stream. So you see, a bit yaya already, think, study not so hard, what? So got in, then that is where I start to focus more on the socializing, rather, like girls basically, rather than on the gospel growing up teenager wow, this girl so pretty, maybe it can be my girlfriend and all that. But still, I continue to keep in contact with Youth for Christ. And then this youth leader called Wilson said, Joe, I think it's time for you to go to church. I say, why go church? You go and gather among, God's people and worship, every Sunday. You will like it one. But that time they call me Joseph. I always like the name Joseph. So I actually adopted the name myself, Joseph. They said, so what's your name? I said, Joseph. So I went to church, Fairfield Methodist Church. So that was his church. So I went to join the Bible study class, Sec 1, Sec 2, Sec 3, Sec 4. So I went to join. There are only about 3 other guys with me. They're all of them nerd one, So Joe, every Sunday, 8:30, come to church, Bible study. After that, we eat breakfast. After that, service starts at 10:30. So I was like, okay. But I was a very different person. Sunday, I was all into God, into church. Monday to Saturday, I was a different person, right? I was stuck to my worldly ways, if you know what I mean. Smoking, drinking, a secret society. But when comes Sunday, So today we will talk about the book of Matthew. Then we will pray, But when I look back, I felt a sense of belonging. I thought what I needed then wasn't God. What I needed then was friends. So I went for a few years. And then one day Wilson asked me, hey Joe, do you want to be baptized? I said, see me baptized. What baptized? Say, basically a rebirth, right? To be born again. I said, so need to do what? Go baptism class, lor. I said, okay, go, lor. Nothing to do, ma. Then go, lor. Then I still remember during the class, one of the lessons, they say, so if you can pray to God for a gift, what is the gift that you want? Is it the gift of wisdom? Or is it a gift of knowledge? Or what? Then I still remember down there got checkbox. Guess what I take? Exorcism. I wanted the gift of exorcism. But until today, the thing I'm most frightened of is actually ghosts, What kia kui one, I tell you first, very scared. Because that's the only thing I cannot control. You point a gun to my head, also not scared. You stab me, cannot stab me, also not scared. But suddenly something appear, I'm scared. Then I'll pray. right? But I actually asked for a gift of exorcism, you know. So I wanted to be an exorcist, right? 看太多戏了, you know. Young when you always watch those Gangster show, you know. And you thought it's quite cool to be a ghost catcher. And then after that, never mind, come baptism day. So we went to, for the first time, Fairfield Methodist did their baptism at East Coast Beach. So we went down there. I still remember the two pastors, right? They were, you know, waist down in the sea. Say, approach. Then I walked to the sea. I thought a bit funny. Then the pastor looked at me. So, what would you want to be baptized in? What is the name? Then I say, Josephus. You know why not? Because 3 days before the baptism, I was walking in Funan, you know, the old Funan. There was a Christian bookshop. I think it's called Zion or something, right? Mount Zion. Then down there, they always display the books. Then down there, there's a title down there put, The Story of Josephus. Then I thought Josephus, wow, sounds very sexy, like a Latin name or Hebrew name, right? So you always want to be different when you're young. During that time, you know, you want to be a Eurasian, you know, you want to have a very sexy Christian name or double Christian name. So I thought, I'm Joseph. So maybe this is like a Latin or Hebrew version of Joseph. But instead it's spelled as Josephus. Then it came to my mind. So in the middle of the sea, right, I look at the two pastors. I want to be baptized as Josephus. Hey, the pastor very bad. They look at me, they smile. Josephus, it shall be. Then, in the name of God, you know, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, okay, so baptized. Then came out. So, go forth, Josephus, and make disciples of all nations. Then I was very happy. I thought, okay lah, you know. So it's Joseph, right? I went out. Then after that, I drank myself. Then they got worship, reception. Then the pastor came up to me. Oh, by the way, Josephus, I forgot to ask you, why the name Josephus? I said, because it means Joseph what? No leh. Josephus is actually a real Jewish historian. So it's not Joseph. I said, huh? Then how? I said, but we have already baptized you in the name of Josephus. So now you are Josephus. So we cannot re-baptize you as Joseph. Then I was like, but Josephus is a good name. I was like, no. I said, I want to be Joseph, not Josephus. So they issued me the certificate, Josephus. Subsequently, I found out, actually, just a little bit of, just to sidetrack a little, Josephus, Flavius Josephus, was a Jewish historian that documented the historical existence of Jesus Christ. If not for this person, right, Jesus will always be, to some, maybe a legendary figure, a mythical figure. But this was the guy who documented the historical existence of Jesus. Right? So subsequently, like my later years, then I found out the significance of the person or the name. So okay, Josephus. So trying to get used to the name Josephus. Went to church one day. So that time they went for an annual church camp at Penang. So I couldn't go for obvious reasons. I was still young. I didn't come from a rich family. I can't afford it. Right? Then they came back. So usual Bible study class. Then one of my classmates, the sister, because they went as a family. The whole family attend the same church. I still remember the girls, the boy is called Hector. The sister is called Hazel. So then after that, I asked both of them, hey, you all go Penang, church camp, what you all do? Say, we worship God. You know, during the worship, you know, suddenly I cried. And I felt the Holy Spirit descended on me. That was what Hazel told me. And then after that, she turned around and looked at me. Josephus, have you felt the same feeling? Then I looked at her. I said, no. That was the incident that made me left church. I left church the very next day. And I never looked back. You know why? Because suddenly it dawned upon me that all these years that I was with Fairfield Methodist Church, Singapore Youth for Christ, I was there for the friendship. I wasn't there for the person. called Jesus Christ. I left. Yeah. And I told myself, I said, maybe I should find him in my own ways, in my own time. So I left the church. And it was downward spiral ever since. So I tried to find God in sex, in drugs, in rock and roll, in gang violence. You name it, I've done it. So that 2 years was really spent in nothingness. I became a godless and a fearless person. Really, really. I have no will, absolutely no will to live. Right? So I became the prodigal son. But then again, I've always been, but it's just that was the turning point. That I abandoned whatever good things that I have in my life at that moment. At least there was a system, there was a routine. I still go to church every Sunday. I didn't fall too far off from the tree. I was still within the parameters. But when I make the decision to leave, I told myself, I'm going to look for God in my own ways, in my own time. And I left. Right? So, that time O-levels here, I didn't study as usual, took result. My dad asked me, boy, can go JC or not? As usual, very hopeful. I say, confirm can. Sure, huh? Because you also said the same thing for PSLE, but you didn't, I said, yeah, cannot like that say, 1 year later I also went express. Yeah, that's true. So can go JC, I said, can. Took my O-level results. C, D, E, F. Macam like piano key like that, All I have. Obviously, I can't. I can't even go poly. I can only go ITE. And that time ITE, there's a running joke. It means it's the end. ITE. It's the end. Before that, it was called VITB, correct? Vocational Institute. Nowadays, ITE, very beautiful. 3 campus, College East, West, and Central. I'm a regular speaker at all these colleges. Beautiful place, beautiful curriculum, a lot of activities, That time, ITE, it was small campuses, Pasir Panjang, Dover, Balestier, Super Chui, Not only that, I only qualified for 1 course. And again, my friends are, hey, Joe, what course you get into? I was like, I don't know, what is this? Look at me. Sisi Aqua. You know why? I only qualified to study in this course called Certificate in Secretarial Studies. I say, it means what? Means you next time become secretary. Aqua. Where got guy become secretary one? Well, at least not in Singapore, which is true to a certain extent. I mean, as in, most of the secretaries you see are female. They laugh. You see, now you know why I grew up with the chip on the shoulder, right? Always got this kind of jokers around, And I was like, Went back home. My father asked me, boy, how? Can go JC or not? Cannot. Can go poly or not? Cannot. You mean it's the end, is it? I said, you are right. It's the end. I said, I only qualify for this course called Certificate of Secretarial Studies. Boy, then can do A-levels or not? Hey, I say, hey, hello, don't bodo lah. I say, I feel O-level, you ask me whether I can do A-levels. It's supposed to be harder, step up, I said, boy, then what you want to do now? And that time, I told you what, left church. I was at the peak, or at the start of my rebellion. I look at him. I want to be a rock star. My father looked at me. What is rock star? I say, you don't know. I want to go to Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts or LaSalle College of the Arts. Do what? I want to maybe study for a diploma in theatre studies, or maybe in music composition, or in audio engineering, or in graphic design, fashion design. And after that, my father looked at me. Boy, are you gay? I was like, Boy, you gay, is it? I say, why? Boy, guys do not learn how to dance, act, or sing. say, Pa, but it's my interest. I love music, you know. I love the arts. I love design. Boy, this family cannot have gay, you know. I'll say, okay, then how? What you want? My father say, study A-level. Wow, then I say, hey, hello, bodo lah, I tell you, cannot fail already. It's the end. What A-level? Go private. Huh? Private? Register as private candidate. I was like, but very expensive eh. Need to enroll in private school. If not, nobody teach you. Never mind. We borrow money. I said, huh? We borrow from relatives. I said, okay lor. I said, you say one ah? Boy, try. I said, okay lah. Anyway, you spend money, not my money one. And my parents went to borrow money to enroll me into this private school, St. Francis. Now it's located at Jurong, right? Previously it was behind on the hill, Mount Sophia, behind Plaza Singapura. So every day morning have to climb up the hill, you know, macam like go to Shaolin Temple like that. And the worst part, you still have to wear uniform. That's what all of us hated. Everybody want to go poly, not because of the causes. Everybody wants to go poly, so no need wear uniform. That's the global truth, which I think the government is not really aware of that time, right? Poly not so successful, if not for the fact that you don't have to wear uniform, you know. Yeah. So go uniform. That time I was growing my hair out long, walk to school, walk to class. Then they will mark attendance. Okay, Stephen, yes sir. Mary, yes sir. Josephus. What? Joe, can you have some manners? Answer yes or no. And chin chai lah, up to you lah. I just got up, walked to the door. Then my teacher asked me, Josephus, where do you think you are going? I'm going to this place called None of Your Business. I slammed the door. So my rebellious nature was growing, keeping my hair long. Then, you know, I will change out from my school uniform, go to Seligi, Park Lane, go and play in the music studio. You know, I was playing in a band. I was getting wasted. I start to do drugs, you know. I start to take part in gang violence. So it was like that all the way until I was 18 years old. Oh, A-level results release day, right? Yeah. So my father asked me, boy, can go university or not? By then, I looked something like that already. Without the mustache, but skinnier version. I said, what do you think? Say, I think got chance. I said, I agree with you. I think got chance too. So I said, I hope to go university too lah. I said, good, best of luck. So I went to the center, collect my slip, MOE center, collect my slip, came back home. And my father looked at me, how? I said, I got straight A's. Don't bluff lah. You PSLE fail, O-level fail, A-level, you straight A's? Show me the slip. I said, nah. He looked at it. Wow. Thank God, you really got straight A's. You must be thinking how to become a lawyer, right? If not for straight A's, right? You know, not only in Singapore, overseas also the same. You want to go to law school or medical school, you got to be the best of the best. It's true. That's why everybody wants to be a lawyer or doctor. Your parents want you to be lawyers and doctors. You know why? Your brain, Singapore top 1%. Based on paper lah, correct? I got straight A's. Then, after 5 minutes, my dad paused again. Oh boy, but you got B's also leh. I said, have me? I took back the slip. Oh, yeah lah. Then my dad looked at it. Oh boy, down here put general paper, ABS. That means you got A and B, is it? Chinese, ABS. Economics, ABS. I say, of course. My A-level result, ABS, F, ABS. ABS for absent. Then my father shook his head. Boy, you are a disappointment. And ever since then, he never talked to me for the next couple of years. Right? So I was like, okay, whatever. Went to army. Army, I thought, did me a lot of good. I was put on the straight and narrow because you need to be regimented, right? So I thought, army, I found my sense of purpose. I was an unarmed combat instructor, so I trained the soldiers in martial arts. So I found a purpose. I thought it was something I enjoyed doing. It was a leadership role. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So NS went by, came out. No qualification, no job experience, nothing. I found a job selling computers at Funan and Sim Lim. And as usual, I told you I failed mathematics, right? So this month's salary, my basic pay, $700. Plus commission. So if you are good in sales, then your commission will add up to maybe $3,000, $4,000. So within 3 months, I actually achieved top sales. So I was actually good at selling, Even though I don't know anything about computers. I never used a computer ever before. So that's why they say don't go Sim Lim on your own. Or Lucky Plaza on your own. For that reason, because of people like us. So we'll go over there, especially the Caucasians, right? The tourists. Hey man, what's up? Are you from US? Then they'll walk over. Let me sell you a computer. This is the best in the world. Then they'll look at me. How so? They use this in NASA. They use this in the Iraq war. It's bulletproof, the screen. Yeah, so basically you go to Sim Lim, you go to Lucky Plaza, you know what I mean. A lot of this kind of rubbish, okay? Yeah. But I made a killing, so I was earning quite a bit of money, good commission. But today, take my salary, $4,000. At night, I spend $5,000. How? We go to nightclubs. You feel rich at 21, 22 years old for $5,000. Okay lah. Just order open bottle, order the girls, the drinks you want. I pay. So that night, $4,000, I spent $5,000. I still need to borrow $1,000 from my friend. So that's how I spend my money. No sense of financial literacy, Don't know how to plan the money. Just everyday spend on drugs, drinks, getting wasted. No sense of purpose. So, and the best part about me is that whenever I drink, I turn very, very violent. Very, very violent. So at the height, there was one incident. I actually went to use violence on my family members. Everybody ran. So that time I was dating this girl. So I actually beat her up. Hey, by the way, I'm not advocating violence against women. Yeah, but I'm just narrating what happened. So I beat up that girl very badly. I strangled her, And at that moment, I had a plan. In my mind, I was very high, intoxicated. The plan was to throw the girl off the building. And at the same time, after that, jump off the building, commit suicide. I have no purpose and no will to live. For a few years already. I didn't know that time I was in a state of depression. I strangled her, pushed her to the balcony, and, half her body was already out on the ledge, I was prepared to jump as well. So I was 22 years old at that time. But really by God's grace, But of course, then I was godless. What would I know about God? Somebody from the shadows at the sun suddenly came and dragged the both of us to safety. Wrestled me to the floor. And I got up. Guess who I saw? Not Jesus. Yeah. Nowadays, in modern day times, not very easy to see God. Yeah. I saw my father. When I saw my father, the next thing I throw a punch. And because I was drunk, so don't try to beat people when you're drunk. You will miss. So I throw a punch at him. He dodged, Then he gave me one slap. Psh! Then I dropped to the floor. I got up again. I threw another punch at him. He gave me another slap. Psh! I dropped to the floor. Then the last thing I know, I fainted. I knocked out, Hey, you don't see my father, He's like this short, quite fat guy, tattoos on his legs, the face a bit crumpled looking, It was tough guy. A few hours later, I woke up. I saw that the entire house was in a state of carnage, The refrigerator toppled, sofa toppled, TV screen smashed up, everything. It was like a war zone, And I saw my dad sitting there, smoking. And I know showdown come already, must go and confront this. So I went up to him. I said, what happened? He looked at me. What do you think happened? I said, I have no idea. Then he just puffed his cigarette. I snuck out his cigarette. Boy. At that moment, I thought, again, second possession, I think maybe the Holy Spirit came into him. Yeah. That was the message he left me, which changed my life. I'm coming to the end of the part 1 story. Boy, what is hurting you so much inside? What is it? Have we not tried our best to give you what we have, even though we are from a poor family? Why are you, out of control? Why are you so angry? Why are you so violent? Then I say, I don't know. Boy, have you tried being good for once? I say, huh? Why? I say, you have always been naughty, mischievous, rebellious, but have you tried being good? Doing something good, not for anybody. Not for your family, not for your friends, but for yourself. Being good and kind to yourself. Give yourself a chance. Make an informed choice. If you do something good for yourself, you don't like it, continue wasting your life. Anyway, at age 22, there are only 2 roads for you. Prison or death. Either one, you are not afraid. What's the harm of trying? Have you tried being good and kind to yourself for once? And then he left. Walked into his room. Because of you, whole night I never sleep. I slammed the door. Starts snoring away. And it dawned upon me when I looked at the carnage around me, and I saw the girl I was dating on the floor bruised up. I saw the violence I was capable of. I was in a very, very bad place. And I cried. I had nobody to turn to. And I was very ashamed of what I did. Then, I don't know why, all of a sudden, right, I felt this urge, I just went to the ledge, I looked up in the sky, and I just said this, okay, look, if ever there is a God, or whatever your name is, hear me out. Give me a chance. Take whatever void, whatever hurt that I'm feeling in my heart away. Give me a chance to restart my life. Please. Believe it or not, but at that moment, I thought when I uttered, you call it a prayer, right? And of course, I call it a prayer now. Suddenly, right, I felt so light. It's like a rock just got lifted off my chest, in the movies, you probably see a ray of light. You probably see like God descending upon you, That was the moment of my Holy Spirit. For the first time, I felt it at 22. At the brink of me jumping over the balcony. But of course, it's not just that prayer, but what came after the prayer. Right? So it got lifted off. The next day, I told myself, look, the road to recovery is that you got to embrace the mistake, your past, which you cannot change. And I embraced that. I told myself I have a drinking problem, I have a violent problem. I went to Institute of Mental Health for the record. I went to see a psychiatrist. I was put on antidepressants for a year. I went to see counseling. I restart my life going back to basics, wake up on time at 8 a.m., wash up, read the newspaper, have my breakfast. It was as basic as that. And then I went to find odd jobs. Because I told you, right, I don't have a decent job. I was just like bluffing people, conning people at Sim Lim, selling computers. Then, during that recovery road, I found a job as a toilet cleaner. Little did I know that time, I was washing corporate toilets with Bangla workers at City House, opposite Lau Pa Sat. I was washing the toilet left behind, or rather, because the law firm actually moved out. Allen and Gladhill, the biggest law firm in Singapore at that time. I was washing their corporate toilets. Right? Then I also took up odd jobs as a driver. I paint walls for offices. I do renovation, pasar malam. Every day you earn about $30, $50. It was an honest living. It was a very, very humbling period of my life. So that was the start of the recovery process. Right? Until then, I was reading the papers. Reading is good for you, ladies and gentlemen. Always read. Because you never know, one day when you read, you might find God, All right? And I read, and I think I found God in the form of an advertisement. The advertisement was a private school, promoting a private diploma course in law. And it sticks in my head, Coming from somebody who has been running away from school for so many years, failing school, hated school, suddenly it stuck in my head for 2 weeks. I was like, fantasy lah, just work. Finally, I decided, okay, I must confront this. I went out to my dad, my parents. I said, look, can you help me? By then, my parents haven't spoken to me in years. They don't even call me boy anymore. They just like, hey. Because the years leading up, I was stealing my parents' money, going out drinking, buying drugs, Really, true blue prodigal son. So at that time, they were not talking to me. But I went up to them and I said, I need your help. They look at me, what? I need to borrow money. Huh? Go and buy drugs again, right? Go and drink again, right? I say, no. I want to study. Huh? 你讲什么? What you say? Say it one more time. I say, I want to study. Catherine, my mom is called Catherine. Cat, shh. Then my mom came. What you tell your father? He got heart attack one, later. I say, I want to study. Huh? Then my mother look at my father. My father look at me. I look at my mother. Then we burst out laughing, Wah! For a good 5 minutes. Until today, in my mind, right, that was the happiest I've ever seen them, Until today, I kid you not. Until today, the happiest moment in my parents' life was that moment when we were all laughing together when I told them I want to go back to school. They laughed initially. Then they look at me, boy, small head, wear small hat. Small head, don't wear big hat. Poor people like us are not born to have dreams like this. You want to study law, a diploma in law, LAW. I say, yeah. Dreams like this are not for us. I say, okay. So are you going to lend me the money or not? Then he said, but I got no money. We have to borrow from your relative. I said, can try. I said, okay. We try, no promises. So went to borrow from my auntie. My auntie is a retired Chinese HOD, Chinese teacher, like very strict one, Yeah, you want to borrow money from me? Is it for your eldest son, my older brother, who is a lawyer, by the way? And he looks like the gentleman just now. Wear glasses, short hair, lawyer, went through JC, went through university, Typical top 3 in class, Very, very different from this. Very, very different. Is this for him, for Patrick? My mother said, no. Oh, is this for the youngest one? I'm the middle child. By now you would have known, right? Middle child, a lot of problem. Yeah. Is this for the youngest one, Ray? My mother said, no. You mean it's for that monster? Yeah, by then I got no name one. That monster. That poor kia, My mother said, yes. No. He's going to take the money, he's going to buy drugs, drink alcohol, get wasted, get hacked by people on the street. No, I'm not going to lend you the money. Then my mother said this, which touched my heart a lot. Said, we are poor people. When we pass away, we have nothing to leave behind. So take this as a gamble. The only gamble that we will ever take for our children is to give him an education. my mother, a very smart one actually, because she knows she's a retired teacher. So teacher, you want to bluff their money, just say it's for education, they will give the money already. That's the trick, that's the trick. So my auntie was like, oh, okay, I shall write you the check. But only one last chance. Then my mother said, okay. And then that's how I enrolled in a private school, did my diploma. So nighttime, I studied night school. Daytime, I was doing odd jobs. 1 year later, I passed by 3 marks. Again, 3. But to pass a diploma in law, 3 marks, not bad, considering the fact that I hated school. I left school for so long. And then came the second part. Pa, I need another favor. Huh? Why you so many favor one? I want to be a lawyer. Huh? As in, lawyer, go to court. I said, yes. Why? Because I want to save the world. Then my father, cat. Then my mother came up. What? You already got a diploma, go and find a paralegal job, work in office, then find a good woman, settle down, that's it, buy HDB. What you tell him now? I told Pa that I want to be a lawyer. Huh? Lawyer? As in go court and fight case? I said, yeah. Why you want to be a lawyer? Because I want to save the world. Then my mother looked at my dad. My dad looked at me. Then I looked at my mom. And then they started laughing. Wah! Second time I seen them, happiest in their life. Laugh again. 1 year later, so they laugh again. But this time around, I laughed, not for so long. So I stopped. I look at them. I said, why? I said, I'm serious, Then they look at me. Really? I said, yes. And I know that my God is with me. And my mother looked at my father. Then my father looked at my mother. Hey, Kat, I think you bring him go and see doctor. Boy, you got to take medicine or not, the antidepressant. I said, I stopped taking already for 6 months. Boy, are you crazy? No. I know for the first time in my life, this is my mission. This is my purpose. And I have to go through it. And you look at how serious I was. How much you need? 100,000. Huh? You think we bang? This time now cannot help you. Your auntie also don't have. Go and borrow. So we went around, to all the banks, and finally we found one that offers an education loan. I got a conditional offer from the university in England, University of Southampton. Yeah, so got secured the education loan, and I went overseas for 3 years. And that 3 years in England was tough. And I hated Singapore. I really hated Singapore. I hated the system. But all because of my own fault. But I didn't appreciate Singapore. I didn't appreciate my family. I didn't appreciate God. And I didn't see miracles until I was in England. Why? England was such a bad place. You go over there, you see racism in your face. People come up to you. Hey man, you're from China. Go back to China. Pui. The kids, they will just come up to you and do that to you. I was in the suburbs, right? So they don't like foreigners. So you got harassed by them, and they push you, they steal your things, they throw things at you. So I was living in fear, So I talked to the school about it, So in UK, but I went there as an adult student at 25 years old. My peers, my Singaporean peers, they were all 18, 19, 21, 22, just came out from NS, most of them from rich families. So they go to school, it's actually every 3 months they go England, 3 months they come back Christmas, then they fly back, 3 months later come back Easter, after that go back, come back 3 months summer. So their one is like going chalet like that. My one is go there 1 time, come back 1 time. Okay? No choice, no money. I can only afford 1 pair of flight ticket. So I was working there part-time, studying, mugging in the library most of the time. right? It was tough. I never get to travel to Europe. You know, it was cheap. If you are in England, right, it was a traveling opportunity, you know, going to all parts of Europe. Very, very cheap. But I didn't. I have no money. So I was working to upkeep myself. You know, I was studying. And the first miracle that I saw, final year, that time the system, Singapore legal system, they require you to get a second upper class honors degree before you can come back and practice Singapore law. I borrowed 100,000 from the bank. I went over there to give my heart and soul to it. If I get a second lower class, you come back, your law degree is like toilet paper, you know. That was the system, but now they changed it. I was under tremendous pressure. I know you have to make this, you know. So one day I was under so much pressure, my final year examination. I was walking along the streets. Then beside this bingo gambling lottery center is this very old church. The doors are open. By then, you know, I was faithfully going back to reading our daily bread, reading the Bible, praying, you know. I started to find God again. And then I saw the church. I thought, something tells me that maybe I should go in. I walk in, sat down there, look at the crucifix. Then I said, God, you have brought me this far. Now is the final step. Let me pass this. Let me get through this, you know. And let me go back to Singapore to complete your mission, to spread the word, to save the world. Please help me. And then I left. After that prayer, went through the final year examination, results day. I queue up, I got the results slip, it was stapled. I don't dare to open it, you know, because I did very badly for one subject. The system was that if you fail any subject, one subject in your final year, there is no retaking of exam. Your class, your honors class will automatically relegate one class lower. That means you get first class, you fail one subject, right? You get relegated to a second upper class. And second upper, if you fail one, relegate to second lower. Automatic. No retaking. Final year already, graduate already. So I thought, game over this time. Took the results slip. I went to see my director of international student affairs. This very nice fairy godmother to me, you know, English lady. Always ask me, Jill, would you like a cup of tea? Very, very nice English lady. Called Jill Elliott. Very, very nice Christian old lady, you know. Always share with me, you know, we Bible study together. She'll pray for me, you know. So I went to her room. Jill, are you okay? I say, no. Have you seen your results? No. Oh, let me open it for you. She took the thing, opened up the slip. I'm sorry. You failed one subject. Then she came up and hugged me. At that moment when she said, I failed one subject, I literally can see my life flashing past my head, you know. It's like, okay, that's it. Game over, GG, you know. She came up to me and hugged me. But Joe, you got your second upper class. Huh? I was like, what? I said, yeah. You know, yours was a very special case. I said, why? You failed family law. Yeah, family law. Of all subjects, right, I failed family law. Yeah, no surprise, huh? The board of examiners, we convened a meeting. And in a very, very rare decision, we all unanimously decided to let you keep your second upper honors without relegating you one class lower. I said, what? I said, yes, because you have done so well in your first and second year. This is just one subject. I hope you are happy and you can go back to Singapore to serve your people, to serve God. And I literally cried, you know. I was like, what are the chances? I call that a miracle. I failed, but I passed too. And we hugged, and I left. I came back to Singapore. And I remember that promise I made in that church, because just now I never tell you the last part. In that church in England, at Portsdown Road, when I look at the crucifix, I said, God, if you let me pass this, you know, I'm going to serve the rest of my life, spreading your word, you know. I'm going to really, you know, complete this mission. I'm going to spend the rest of my life, you know, to be a testimony for your love and your grace. And I passed. And it's time that I fulfill my promise. Until today. Ladies and gentlemen, part 2 of my life, I don't think I have the time to finish. My professional life. Just to do a quick summary. A lawyer in Singapore on average will do about 2 to 4 pro bono hours a year. Pro bono is a Latin word. It means for the public good. It means you're offering your professional services for free. So on average, Parliament, they did a survey. A lawyer in Singapore would have contributed 2 to 4 hours. At most, 10 hours if you are active a year. And lawyers, by and large, we earn our money by hourly rate. So when I talk to you for an hour, that is about $750. So thank you, GBN. That's $750 times 2. It's about 2 hours now. But no lah, it's for free. So, in my second year in practice, it came out in Straits Times because they were very fascinated how that happened. I actually, because you have to, every year when you renew your license, you have to declare how many hours, or even 0 hours, you have to declare. In my second year of practice, I declared 1,722 hours per year. In that 1 year, it became national news. Nobody has ever seen anything like this before. And the reporters, they asked me, why? I felt very tormented. Because I cannot say that because of God. No, I can't say that. So I say, it's because, you know, I wanted to help the underprivileged, which is true. Isn't this the God that I know, reaching out to the underbelly in society? Right? Reaching out to the taxpayers, the prostitutes, you know? And I told myself, I have to strive to walk in His perfection, to walk in the footsteps of Christ, to do what He did, right? It's no longer about the money, the fame, the glamour, right? It's about helping those who couldn't see the light. And the best part, lawyers come up to me, hey, don't spoil market, leh. Now all my customer complain, say, wow, you so good, huh? Your result so good, but you do for free. I charge him 5,000, now they want refund. You spoil market. You know, I was outside courtroom, I was a junior lawyer. Lawyers come up to me and shove me, you know. And say, hey, Yang Pang, you trying to prove a point, ah? You know, I lawyer 30 years, you know. You think you're very good, ah? I say, no. Then why you do so much pro bono? You good guy, is it? You trying to play God now, ah? I say, no. But again, I felt very tormented. I cannot say, because it's God's mission. Listen. Repent. I wanted to say that, but I couldn't, you see. Senior lawyer, senior lawyer. Sorry, sir. I want to say, repent. You know. So I continue. A lot of lawyers say that confirm you go bankrupt, you know, you confirm burnout. In my third year, I declared 2,596 hours. Fourth year, 3,600 over hours. Until now, I lost count. I've been in practice for coming 11 years. It hasn't stopped. Only because of my promise to God. It's madness. Because when we did a calculation, billable hours, in my third year, I would have been a millionaire if I'm going to translate all my pro bono hours into money. A millionaire, many times over. By now, lah. But no, the fact of the matter, ladies and gentlemen, I'm driving a van. I'm staying in a rented room because of what happened in 2017. I almost suffered a mild stroke. I was hospitalized. I went through a divorce. I lost everything. I was on the brink of bankruptcy. That will be the story for part 3. So if GBN want to hear part 3, you must invite me for part 2 and part 3. Right? So, but glory be to God. I overcame all that. Guess what? All the people that I've helped over the years as a lawyer, the poor, the down and out, the forsaken. In 2017, when I fell to the gutter, they all came back. They contributed money, they contributed help. The people that I've helped came back and helped me. And when I was on the brink of bankruptcy, lying in a hospital alone, suffering a mild stroke. This is the last part. Then after I have to end already, no time. Before the last night before I was about to be discharged the very next day, I know I was going to be a bankrupt. Under the Legal Profession Act, if you are a bankrupt, automatically you will not be a lawyer. They'll revoke your license. My hospital bill was about $12,000 to $18,000 or more. That time I only had $4 in my wallet. That was in April 2017. So that time I cried on the hospital bed. I said, God, is this what you want? You have brought me this far. You know, I'm doing your work. I've lost everything. Don't let me down now. Don't forsake me. Don't. And I cried. I cried out to God. I even scolded him. I said, hey, you old already, is it? See now. Or you're too busy helping people in Africa, is it? You forgot about me, you know. God, I'll be a bankrupt, you know. Guess what? Scary, ladies and gentlemen. You call the non-believers, they call it a coincidence when I told them this. The believers, I hope, or rather, I myself, I believe it's a miracle. The moment when I finished that prayer, when I scolded God, I said, don't give up on me. My phone rang with a message. Then I was like, Hi, Josephus. It is Joel here. I'm your new insurance agent. I just took over from your previous insurance agent who quit the industry. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going overseas. When we come back, let's catch up for a cup of coffee. I was like, like when you scolded God, suddenly God descended. Relax, chill. I received the SMS, you know, as I was crying. I was like, hello, hi, I'm in the hospital now. Sorry to hear that, but I'm going overseas now. But I tell you what, anyway, just to let you know, many years ago, you actually bought the medical insurance, you know. So you're covered. Tomorrow when you go discharge, you just give them this policy number. No need to pay a single cent. I was like, are you serious? Yes, Josephus, you are fully covered. Then we will catch up when we come back, okay? When I come back. When I put down the phone, I was like, wow. The God of miracles. In the modern day context. You know, what are the chances of that? I was on the brink of it, you know. And when I was praying, crying out, I said, don't let this be the end. The message came in. Next day, went to the discharge counter, give policy number. Sir, no need to pay single cent, you can go already. Huh? And like that, I didn't go bankrupt. I went to work as a pest controller, catch rats, catch cockroaches. I was working part-time for my friend's pest control business. Going to all the tankers because nobody can recognize me. One thing no good about Singapore is that when you are a lawyer, you cannot do anything that is unbefitting of the profession. I was thinking of becoming an Uber driver, but cannot because public figure, people recognize, hey, you are the lawyer, right? Then kena storm lah, come up newspaper lah. So I covered my face when I go and do a dishwashing job for my friend at a private event at a rich man's house. You know, then I was climbing the ships, the tankers, traveling out to the seas to catch cockroaches, rats, you know. And in November, there was a collision in Indonesian waters between our boat and a tanker. Almost died. Almost got flung out of the boat. And we were banging, you know. We were actually caught in between the waves. the boat and the tanker, slamming against each other continuously for 10 minutes. At that moment, I thought, it's over already. You can actually feel death. And again, of course, my God is mighty, and I pray, God, bring us home safely. Believe it or not, at that moment, right, the tide just slowed down, and the ships, they just move apart from each other, and it stopped rocking. And I came back. Then I told my friend, hey bro, I think it's God's signal, say better don't do this already. Focus on the law firm lah, huh? Start law firm better. So that is the long and short of the part 3 story. Of course, I miss out a lot of details because today don't have much time already. So if you ask me, have I seen miracles? The answer is yes. Do I believe in God? Of course. And I can't say it's the same for everybody else. Everybody will have their own different experience with God. But I think I just want to conclude by saying this. At least for me, God is not a religion. It is not. God is a relationship. God is a person. God is somebody that I have a relationship with. So I no longer see a need to flock together with the same kind. Because I know that everyone will have their own personal journey with our Lord Jesus Christ. It's a relationship. And I plan to keep it that way. Thank you very much.